Hello, in this video I am going to explain what is Redux and why we use it and how it works in a React application. So imagine we have a React application that are passing data, sharing data between component and passing data from one component to another component and another with and then another component. So after some time it's like a game in or like that we are passing a message or notes in a class, and after some time we get the context of the data and everyone gets confused. So this is called prop drilling. So to solve that problem, Redux come into the picture. And so let me show you the prop drilling example. So what is prop drilling? Props drilling. And imagine if we have four components like component A, and here we have component D. Now we have to pass the here component A have some data and component D required that data. So how gonna without Redux we cannot pass that data directly into the component D. So we use the methods to solve that props drilling. So how gonna prop drill we use? Here some component B exists and we pass this data from component A to component B. Okay, type text. Okay, now here's the text. So data comes to component B, and okay, and now we have to share that data with component C. So here we define component C like that and make this component C, and now this data come from component B to component C, and here we name it like data, and now we can pass that data to component D, but we can know the problem here exists. We cannot pass data directly to component D. Like here we get data. So Redux solve that problem, and let's see. Redux solve that problem by creating a store or warehouse of the data of whole application. And now we can see the example of Redux. So Redux have a data or store called store that will have all the data of the application. And now if we have component A and component D, now when we require that data we immediately get that data from the store directly. we did not require to pass the probe between component and to share the data. We directly subscribe to the store and get the data and render it to the UI. So like that, and we get data here also and get data here also. So there are some core concept in Redux also. So first one is the store that have all the data inside it. Second come actions. Actions are typically object that tell how data is changed, tell which action is performed. Okay, and third one is come the reducer, a pure function that will update the store. And fourth one is the subscribe store action reducer. Subscribe the store to get the new data and update it instant. So this is the core concept and how it's works, like how it works. So imagine we have a button. Here we have buttons, some button, and when button, and when we click when user click to the button, it perform action, like action type is object type, increment, and action type. So after clicking it perform action types, and this action goes to the reducer function. Here our function reducer have initial parameter state and second action type, and this reducer function update the store and update the store. After update the store and to subscribe what are subscribe component, subscribe the store and update it and store. get the new data and update it instantly. Okay, so that's the core concept of Redux, and now I will show you the code example of it. So here I created a small app of using Redux with TypeScript. So if I click increment button, it trigger a action type. Action goes to the reducer function and update the state inside the store, and component subscribe the changes and update it to the UI, like that, incrementing, decrementing, and also I can update by the amount also, so it will updating here. Now I will explain the code of my app, this code working example. And so here I created a store that I am fetching legacy store from the Redux library, and after that here I create the store and export it to the using in my app here main.txt, so I can provide that into the to our main application. So we don't need to fetch get that data to a single component, so we wrap the main application into it. So here also I define the root state type and action dispatch type, because I am using TypeScript, so I have to define that also. And so the first part come into the action type. So here I define some action types like increment, decrement, and increment by amount, and here is interface of that increment action, decrement action, increment by amount action, and here I am using the this all combining all into one action type, so it's choosing automatically in that. And here I define action type, actions object type function, action functions like increment, decrement, and increment by amount. So then these action goes into the reducer function here, so it will accept first is as a initial state parameter, and second is the action type, so it will actions and it will updating the state according to their actions. And inside the app I am subscribing to the store and getting the value updated, and here I use dispatch to dispatch action types, which when we click on button which action is going to perform. And here I created one button by handle decrement by handle increment by amount. So if there is a input box, and if we enter any number inside that, then our count is increment by that amount or increase that amount, and it's going to add previous value of the count and amount of how much amount we are going to increase both, and then update it. Here two simple button that triggering the dispatch action, increment, decrements, like that. So that's it, my explanation of the Redux.